everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Stevie.
Hi.
And, Steve,
Yes.
I realized something after our podcast last week.
Last week.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we've gotten great feedback on that episode. Everyone has loved our guest.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was nice to have Will on.
What did you realize?
But I realized, and people in our close circle, which are the only people that really watch this or listen to this, but we're gonna do this anyway.
Yeah.
That I kind of just blew past the fact that it took me almost a year and a half or almost 2 years to get a sofa.
Right. And we do assume everyone listening just already knows all this stuff.
We kind of
so
assume that stuff.
we should probably go over
But-
that.
Yeah, almost 2 years. It took me. I bought it in February. It was during the pandemic, which explains
Right.
part of it.
Right. That was pretty much the main reason.
But still, 2 years is a long flip.
It became like a running joke because it wasn't.
Yeah.
You didn't buy it knowing it was going to take you 2
No,
years.
because it usually takes 6 to 8 weeks to get a sofa when you have it made like that. 6 to
Yeah.
8 weeks is pretty standard.
Yes.
And it's not an expensive sofa. It's nothing fancy. Like it's just a sofa.
It's nice, but yeah,
But-
it's just a sofa.
It usually takes 6 to 8 weeks. That's been the standard since I was a kid to get something done. And I knew it would be longer because I knew everything was taking longer during the pandemic. But when I did it, I don't know if I've ever told you like the full story of what happened. So when I went to buy it, and they're like, okay, it's going to be 20 weeks. So I'm like, okay, that's fine.
And it was COVID time.
That's like COVID time, whatever. Like it sucks, but I have a sofa, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
20 weeks, okay. And which is like half a year. Pretty close to half a year, not quite. We get to about 19, 20 weeks, and I call them to ask. I call the store that I bought it at to ask them like what's the time, like what's it looking like? Because I knew there was a chance that it got delayed or something.
Right.
Because I think it had already gotten pushed back once, like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. So I called them, and they're like, yeah, they couldn't get the fabric that you picked. So they canceled the order. And I had to reorder the sofa, but they didn't put me back where I was in line. So, and the new time frame was now like 50 weeks or 40 weeks.
A year.
A year, basically. Which is just ridiculous. Like, the fact that they canceled the order and then didn't...
You weren't notified?
Well, he was basically getting ready to call me about the time that this happened.
Okay.
Or I think I called him, and then he called them, and that's when he learned that they couldn't get the fabric or whatever. Because they were so backed up, I think, that usually they build them, and then they just ship them out. And I think they were so backed up that they hadn't even got to building mine yet. So once they got to the point, like, they were just starting to get to the point where they would order the fabric and then have it brought in. And I think that's when it happened. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to name the company, not going to name the store, not going to name any of it.
Good on you.
Because the store was great. The guy that I worked with was really nice. He was great about it.
And we're not here to
We're not here to
shame anyone.
shame anybody. It was just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, I think
2 years for a sofa is a long flip.
Right. For sure. And you are entitled to be frustrated with that. But at the same time, to also give them more of the benefit of the doubt, everything was kind of a pain at that time.
It was.
The world.
Yeah. So I had to go in and reorder the sofa and pick out a different fabric and then wait again, which was fun. But anyway, that's the story. It's boring for most people. It's probably not that good of a story.
No. But I think
But I feel like we just kind of blew
when you
past
just say
it.
that, it's definitely like an interesting fact. And it's not a
'cause
normal
2 years for a
occurrence.
sofa is a long flipping time. So.
Right. And it's important you mentioned you did have a sofa. You were not sofa-less. Which is a great segue because I'm in the middle of moving, kind of.
Yeah.
And I, not really knowing how Facebook Market works, I posted my couch on Facebook Market like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And about like a week and a half ago. Did
Yeah.
we talk about this last episode?
Yeah, because you said you sold it already, didn't have it. One.
Oh, so everyone already said. So we are sofa-less. Just is my point.
You said you have a beanbag chair.
We have one beanbag chair in the middle of the living room. And that's literally it. And a coat rack. So You did it in a smarter way than we did.
Yeah, I mean, I knew my sofa was starting to get like bad. So, but it was still usable. Like I could still sit on it, so it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, because when you don't have anything to sit on, that's kind of a pain.
Right. And like the beanbag, I mean, I'm so grateful we have it. We got it for free. One of our friends just gave it to us. And it is, I mean, it's the comfiest thing ever. So
Is it like one of those really big beanbag chairs?
It's huge. It could fit like 3 people probably. So we are getting
those are nice.
our use out of it. It's a very nice one.
Yeah.
And it was like, someone originally had it for like in their basement, and it was like a gaming thing. So thankfully we have that.
There used to be a store in St. Louis that sold those type of things, and they're expensive.
I know. So I'm once again very thankful my friends just gave this to us. But if we didn't have it, it would probably be a big issue. Because, like, we'd just be in our rooms all the time, and that's, like, lame, you know?
Yeah.
But, anyway, I'm glad we got some money from it, and that has been helpful.
Have you sold any, or did you just sell your sofa? Like, are you moving everything else? That was the only thing.
Yeah, we're gonna, because, I mean, everything else is, like, our room furniture.
Yeah.
So, it's not really stuff we could just sell, or, like, our kitchen table, and that's in really good shape. But the couch was, like, I just had it already for a couple years, and I don't care about the colors anymore. I wanted something newer.
Okay.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So.
I get that. You said you're not working. Like, yesterday was your last day.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Because you're moving, of course.
Well, and I have a job. It just doesn't start yet.
It doesn't start, yes.
And
Steve's not a bum.
No, I'm not.
Steve's mostly not a bum.
If I am a bum, it's not because of this job situation. It's probably for other reasons. But yes, yesterday was my last day. It was an internship, and that's over.
But it's with the bank, which you've been working at. It's the same bank that we've both been at for a while.
Right,
so.
And I loved it. I am so grateful for that opportunity. I really did enjoy my time there. But I chose to. The department I was working for had our holiday party on Thursday, and that was kind of that was like one of my jobs, was to help plan that, right?
Okay.
You know, and that was I figured once that was over, the year was going to slow down anyway, and I already was kind of running out of tasks, so I just thought that would be a good last, like, thing, and then I could give myself a few weeks off around the holidays. So I'm going to enjoy this time. But yesterday, funny enough, one of the new coworkers in that department, that he learned I had a podcast yesterday.
Okay.
And of course now he's like, hold on, this whole time you like had this and like I've never heard a peep. And I don't know why, there's still something in me where like when someone brings it up, I'm like, oh no, like don't talk about it here. It just feels weird to talk about at like work. I don't know why. I'm just not used to it. Yet, I suppose. But so then he started asking about that, and I just thought it was funny that all day he kept saying, like, where's this been? How have I not known this about you? Another thing they learned, I don't really say goodbye when I'm like leaving the office.
You're very much just.
I'm an Irish goodbye
type
of gal.
Out.
It's not like a thing of like, oh, I hate saying goodbye because it's sad. I'm happy to say it. It's the fact that it's like a thing. Becomes a thing of like, all right, I'm heading out. Like, oh, because I leave early. Okay, yeah. I leave early most days. I'm part-time. No one else there was part-time, and it just felt kind of weird. But what am I supposed to do? I'm part-time. I can't work all day every day.
Yeah. So
I'd be leaving, and I would honestly like take the opportunity when like no one was really paying attention.
See.
To just sneak out, because then it's not a thing. Then it's just like, oh, Steve's gone for the day. It's not like, oh, you leaving already? Oh, what are you? Yes, I'm leaving.
So the boss does this for lunch, usually. She just walks out the door. And if we don't notice that she's walked out the door, somebody might have a question and and then we look in there and it's like, no, she's at lunch. It's like, just tell me. Like, I don't just send a message, something. It's not a big deal that you're leaving. Like, I don't care that you're leaving. Because you need lunch, you need to have a work-life balance. But just freaking tell me so that I know, like, if I have a question, I can't go there. Like, let me know that it's happening.
And I just don't, then it's, I get that. That is very true.
Because then if people are just like wandering around, like, oh, it's Stevie. Oh, I need Stevie for something. Oh, what? Oh, she's not here. Never mind.
Right. Like, oh, I don't know where she went. The thing is, I will say, out of everyone in that department, I was the least likely for anyone to need anything from because,
Well,
like,
yeah.
quite literally.
I mean, you're an intern. That makes a little
I was
more
there
sense.
to
Yeah.
help them when they needed, like, just some extra help. And so it was, I feel like, no, I wasn't, like, missed, you know? It wasn't like, oh, Stevie left, I needed her. Like, no, it can wait till tomorrow. Anything that they probably needed could have waited till the next day. So I get it and I don't. Like, I think if you are the one in charge and people are asking you questions all the time, maybe you got to say, hey, guys, just so you know, don't ask me questions for an hour. I won't be here.
Okay.
But with me, it's like, it was usually around lunchtime anyway. Half the people were out. I just slipped away.
Okay.
So, but that was brought to my attention yesterday that one of the assistants did, in fact, think when I first started working there that I did not like them because I would leave every day and not say bye. And he was like, dang, Stevie must not, like, hate me. She just leaves all the time. And he'd say, like, he'd like look over, see that I was leaving and be like, but, and then I'd be out the door. And so he, like, missed his chance. But anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, usually if we're at like a friend, like a get together with all of our friends, we all usually leave at the same time, so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of like a domino effect.
You usually say goodbye at that point, but
well, that's a little too.
It's a little different too. We're all like.
But like the holiday party though, like I would 100% leave that without saying bye to anyone because there's so many people.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking like our little Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever that we do as like a friend get like that's what 8 or 9 of us or whatever that get together. Mm-hmm. All the couples and Kev.
Well, I would say, like, there's probably a rule. I feel like there's a rule of thumb. Like,
if it's over so many people.
Yeah, like 30 people or less, you got to say your goodbyes. But, like, a wedding, you can't say goodbye to people. You just have to, once you've made your, like, if you're there to see the bride and groom, you say hello to them, and then they're busy, and then you can leave whenever you want. I feel like that's easy.
Okay, I think at a wedding, you still need to say goodbye to at least the bride and groom.
I think if you haven't said anything to them the whole night, yeah, you need to say like, hey, wonderful ceremony, I have to go, have a great night. Okay. But I think if you have said because a lot of the times, when they're saying hi to everyone, it's like, well, you're probably going to leave shortly after. The whole goal is to just be like, hey, I'm here, especially if you don't know anyone else there. You're not staying around to just sit there for more time and wait till they come over again.
Yeah.
And the bride and groom are busy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't have a lot of time anyway. No, so I feel like that's a good way. That's an event where if I wasn't in the bridal party, I'm peacing out.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So I know you told me at the beginning of this that you're getting into football.
Yes, for the first time in my life.
So I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Because I've always liked football.
I've always hated football.
You've always hated football. And I don't. So what changed?
So something very interesting happened this year, and that was there's been this crossover, especially in the last few years, of like football athletes getting it more into like the influencer social media world in general.
Yeah.
I think it kind of started with like, you know, if the wives are, you know, wear really cute outfits like Brittany Mahomes and like. That's the only one I can think of. But, like, when the wives are there and, like, maybe they post pictures and it's like, oh, and they have, like, kids and the kids are cute. And it's, like, people get more involved into, like, the athletes' lives.
Yeah.
And this year, our Lord and Savior Taylor Swift is now kind of in this realm. And obviously that's what I feel like first kind of caught my eye.
Okay.
But I knew that Jason Kelce was on the Eagles, and the Eagles are really the only team I ever have paid attention to anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I've never watched it and been like, I know what's happening until this year.
Which I get that. Mm-hmm. But has somebody over the years had to have tried to get you to understand?
Of course they have, and I've forgotten every single time because I don't care. But because, and this is I know it's silly, but because I now feel like I'm a fan of Jason Kelce himself, and I like watch the documentary, I listen to their podcast, I want to see him on my screen. So now I'm literally, I I want to pay attention. And then I'm like, okay, well, now that I'm paying attention, I was just taught myself.
Okay.
And I would ask a couple questions here and there. I mean, I know that, like, they have to get the ball from here to here on the other side of the end, and the teams rotate who gets the ball, and I know that a touchdown is this many points. I know that you have to kick it after the touchdown to get another point. Like, I know that
You don't have
stuff.
to kick it. You can run it, but yes.
Well, I know that the
Or pass it.
basics, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I know the difference between, like, football and basketball.
Well, yeah, okay.
But I didn't know what, like, a third down was. I didn't know what a first down was. I sat on the sidelines of every football game when I was in high school on the dance team, and always just heard, we had like a cheer that we did for the first down, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was a thing. I knew
that
the
when they said
term.
first down, it was just you do cheer.
Yeah, and that's that. But now I know what that means, and this is the first time I'm actually watching, and I'm like, oh, he has to get this far
Yeah.
to avoid passing the ball to the other team now to keep it.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but I will say I'm stressed. I'm riddled with anxiety now. Now that I know what's happening, especially obviously when I'm watching the Eagles, and
Yeah.
if they're even remotely tied or losing,
Yeah.
I'm sick. I can't.
Do
I'm gripping the seat.
you like the Chiefs since Travis is on there? Do you just like Travis?
I mean, Travis is fine
You don't
because
care
he's
about
dating Taylor.
Yeah, but you don't care really.
I don't care
You
about
like
the
the
Chiefs.
Eagles.
I'm so sorry to the Chiefs fans, but I will never like any other team other than the Eagles.
Okay.
And that's just in my blood. And that will never change.
I
Go Birds!
I just don't. I don't. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know.
Don't know about what.
I don't understand. I just don't get it.
Why
it all of a sudden just kind of changed and clicked. I don't.
because I decided I wanted to know.
Okay.
I was tired of not knowing, and I just started. I never was trying. I was never seeking out. To watch a football game. Sometimes they were just on wherever I was, and like, okay, I guess I'll.
So do
try
you
to
act,
watch.
so like tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to
Are
my
you going
grandparents' house
to-
to watch the Eagles game with them.
Okay.
Absolutely. I met up, like, I've gone to, like, restaurants on Sundays knowing this place is going to have it on, because I don't have, okay, I could pay
Yeah.
to watch it at home, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
do that. So I've planned out, there's been a few times this year, this season, where I've, like, met up with my dad at a place, and we'll watch it together there.
Okay.
And I'm actually doing it on purpose
Yeah.
to watch the game, not just for the food and the appetizers and whatever.
Okay. Do you have any interesting takes? Like anything that's stood out to you?
Like,
In-
that I don't understand, or just
anything in general. Most interesting thing,
yes.
dumbest thing, like whatever.
if the other teams could do the brotherly shove, they wouldn't be mad about it. But no one else can. If they were strong enough,
Oh, you're
if they
talking.
had the
You're
team,
talking like push
what the
whoever
Eagles
past the
do?
line. Yeah.
it's their move.
No,
They've
a lot
coined
of teams.
it.
A lot of teams do.
If you looked it up right now, though,
it's an Eagles thing right now.
and people
yes.
want to make it illegal, they want to ban it from happening. But I
it's
guarantee
always- But
you,
it's happened for a long. Like I've seen it before.
well, I didn't know that, and no one has told me that up until this moment. So I guarantee a lot of other people don't know that as well. Correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong, guys.
I'm
but
pretty sure I've seen other people do this. Like just because you just kind of shove the whole group just kind of grabs together and shoves, and it's. I mean.
But you have to have a very strong quarterback in order to do so.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, I saw a video of him from when he was in college, and he squatted 600 pounds. And he's not a big guy. Like, he's not the size of, like, Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
He's pretty slim,
Yeah.
but you have to be very strong. I mean, his legs are strong.
Yeah.
And that's, so I just feel like people are mad about it because they don't have all the right pieces to do it. Otherwise, they would do it too. You do have to admit, no one else is doing it in the NFL right now, this season. Because I haven't seen it other than when the Eagles do it.
I mean, I truthfully, I don't have a lot of time to watch football anymore because I work at a weird time of day, so I'm
This is
usually
true.
sleeping. So I can't tell you. I watch some of the highlights and I pay attention to who's doing what, but for the most part, I don't have a lot of time to watch a ton of football. Okay, well, that's.
I mean, so it clearly is. It's a coined term that's been around, but right now, it's known widely as an Eagles.
It's an Eagles thing right now. I know.
Yeah.
Going back to like the popular wives or whatever.
Yes.
Like, you realize that Tom Brady was in the league since like 2000, and his wife was the like number one highest paid, most popular supermodel in the world, right? Like, yeah.
But I don't think they were people. I think because they were already such an established like celebrity couple in like Hollywood, and like there was a lot of hype around that. But
they also
the social
on,
media
like, Instagram and stuff
is a whole new. Yeah. It's a whole new like industry. It's a whole new world because now these like Brittany Mahomes has a deal with Skims, and like that probably wasn't happening before social media. These wives got super famous just for being the wife of Giselle was famous for her own reasons. She didn't blow up because she was the wife of a football player. But like we have to admit, Brittany Mahomes probably wouldn't have this large following if she wasn't Patrick Mahomes' wife. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she'd be a great influencer, but
it
that's
helps.
how she got.
It probably
famous.
Helps.
Yeah. So I think, and this is very much a generalization, but I think the girls they like that. That's fun for the girls, right? To look at what are the wives wearing, who's got a wife, who has a cute family that I can look up on Instagram. Yeah. And I feel like with girls, it's more fun for us to watch if we kind of know something about these people. And then it like adds to the story. It's all about the story for me. Okay. And it's the lore. That's what draws me in. After I watched the Kelce documentary, which is largely about the Eagles, it's not really even about Travis or the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's mostly about Jason Kelce's family. I was obsessed with them, and that is why I decided to start watching it, genuinely. And that's when I was like, Dad, where are you on Sunday? We're watching the game together. Because I just cared about him more.
I'm sure your dad was really excited about that.
You know,
or is he a big?
My
I don't
grandpa
know if he's a big
would be
fan,
is more excited probably. Okay. He's someone that like I'll text like I know he's watching the game. He'll watch anything just because he likes to watch the game. It doesn't even matter what teams they are.
Oh, that's how I usually am with football. Yes.
And my dad, I think, when he was younger, he was more into it, but it's not really his like big thing anymore. You know, if the Eagles go to the playoffs or if they go to the Super Bowl, it'll become a big deal for my whole family.
Yeah.
But my dad's probably missed a couple games in this year. He's not as into it as he used to be.
Have you gotten into it enough to where you've bought a jersey?
Well, I have one. But it's old, but I have a couple actually. Eagles jersey. I haven't bought. I would love to get a Kelce one, but another thing about that, Jason's probably gonna retire. If not this year, I mean, I give him literally one more year. Yeah. He should retire.
Yeah.
And it's like I could get a Hurts jersey, but I don't have the lore. I don't really know much about Jalen Hurts. I don't know his love life. Does he have kids? I don't know. So I don't really care about him yet.
Okay.
All I know is that he's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
For not being, 300 pounds like the rest of the football players.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was fun to learn.
Yeah. It's fun to get into, I will say, because I get it. I get why people get so invested, but it can be hard to watch. Like, if your team's not good.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've been a Chiefs fan, and it was 40 some odd years before they won a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Or 50 years before they won another Super Bowl. So, and they were terrible for a long time.
Right.
I feel bad for a lot of fan bases too.
This is true.
Like, the Bills fan base, they went to the Super Bowl 4 times years ago, like 4 times in a row, and didn't win a single one of them.
I would be torn up.
It can be. Well, there's a reason they call you fans. It's short for fanatic. Like what? I mean, there's a reason for that.
This is true. Well, it's crazy how it really is America's favorite sport. Like, people go bananas for their team. And it's like, bad example because I just talked about how I'm, like, now invested into Jason Kelce. But, like, prior to me years when they did actually win the Super Bowl in, 2018, I
don't remember, but
didn't really know anything about any of the Eagles players other than Nick Foles was, like, the MVP because he was the backup quarterback and they ended up winning the Super Bowl, whatever. Yeah. That is the only detail I knew about any of the players. That's probably the only name I knew at the time. But I still was like a diehard Eagles fan because You're just like taught to be like that.
Yeah.
You know? And also any type of fan that like any Philadelphia fans, we're known to have, we have a reputation that is
it's a terrible reputation.
Intense.
Yeah.
So that might just be me, that might just be the fan base, but I've grown up thinking like Eagles or die, Phillies or die. So yeah, when they don't do well, it hurts.
Do you watch any other sports, or is it just football now, or what?
I'm on football.
Sports? Okay.
It's all about the
You
journey.
said Philly, so I just wanted to check.
Well, I've of course
Baseball
I've watched Phillies games before, but it's tough. It's a slow sport to me.
It was faster this year, but yeah.
That's true. I actually did just hear
the
other day they
did
to
a lot of things to speed it up.
They like take out. It's like gotten like faster by like 10%.
Yeah.
Which is great, but I don't know if I'm quite there yet. And
who are the Is it the Flyers the hockey team? Do you watch hockey?
Oh, for Philly?
Philly, yeah.
I think so. I know I don't watch hockey. I would get into hockey, but I'm not into basketball at all. It's like the Sixers. I want them to win, I guess. Same with like Villanova. Like I hope they win, but I'm not going to watch.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah.
I would get into hockey. I'll have to keep you guys updated. Because the St. Louis, where I'm moving, has, the Blues, obviously. Yeah. I would love to go to a Blues game. Mm-hmm. But, see, that's tough. I don't know if I can root for...
I was going to say, are you going to root for the Blues and the Cardinals?
I think it'll be like a... This is how, like, my dad and my grandpa are, too. If it can't be the Eagles, I guess it could be the Chiefs. You know, if the Eagles are out, I'm rooting for this team then. And that's probably how I would be with the Blues.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Are the Flyers even good?
I don't know.
Do we know? Do we have any info on that?
Pay attention to I don't really watch a lot of
Someone
hockey.
Call in. Tell us if they're good.
Call in. Yes, call into this recorded podcast and tell us if the team is any good.
Someone in my family.
Comment on
YouTube
YouTube.
Good
or
not.
Easier.
I'm sure I'll get a text after this episode comes out from someone in my family telling me that they're good or bad. But so if I can't see the Flyers or if they're not doing too hot, I would root for the Blues for sure.
So Steve is getting more into sports.
There you go.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm into the lore. I'm into.
I just think it's funny that you're stressed about when watching it. That's pretty comical.
It's terrible. It's sickening. Like, it almost brings me to tears. I swear I say bad words when I'm watching the games.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I do have to remember.
It's a game.
Not only is it a game, but the worst team in the NFL is still one of the best football teams in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like compared to everyone playing football. Exactly.
Country, yeah.
So even if like the Eagles, God, don't even put this in the universe. I'm not manifesting this. Even if they lose every other game they play of the season, they're still one of the best teams probably in the world at playing football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you realize if the Eagles do really bad now for the rest of the season that this podcast will blow up because everybody will be listening to blame you for that.
we won't get that much clout. Unless cut to man. Like in February when watch them like lose a Super Bowl. God, I need to shut up. The Eagles are going to win. The Eagles are going all the way. They're the best team in the NFL right now. That last game they played versus the Steelers, was it?
Oh, I don't remember who they played last week.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but that was a one-time thing. They're still the best team right now. So I was going to ask, have you been able to watch any football this season?
I've watched a couple of the early games, like the overseas games.
Oh, okay.
But no, I haven't been able to watch a whole lot because I usually go to bed like around the time that they're all starting.
That's true.
So I don't get to watch more. I can watch more college.
Yeah.
Because that's on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but
one thing about me, as we can tell, I'm such a loyal fan to the Eagles. I have never cared at all about any like football team of a school that I've gone to.
We've only gone to one. Well, I guess
like
you
even
high school.
Like I didn't care.
But
I didn't care.
And you don't care about Mizzou.
Don't care about Mizzou.
They did really good this year, though.
Cool. I feel bad saying that. It's not that it's not that I want them to lose. I'm not preying on their downfall, but I've never watched a game and I don't care to.
You don't care.
But maybe if I knew some of the players, I would. Be more interesting.
See, not
my fault.
Okay, so that's one of the things with college that's a little more difficult is even if you learn the players, they're gone.
Change.
They're gone pretty quick. Whereas if you learn the players that are like good players at a big team, they stay there most of the time. But in college, they're all going to leave within a couple years at the most. So it's more about being a team person than it is a player person.
Right, definitely.
But
I'll digress. I'm getting amped up thinking about the Eagles. Go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. Anyway, there's something sitting behind you that I would like us to discuss before we get to our movie. But you got something in the mail, I assume?
Yeah, a guy came in the mail.
Let's talk about it. I'm intrigued.
This. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a Disney fan, and you can see that this has that's the wrong side. This has a giant Mickey Mouse on it. So you can see that it's probably something Disney related. Yes.
Well, so you kind of talked about it before we started, but it's something you got for being a gold member.
So
you didn't pay for this?
So I'm a member of the Disney Fan Club, which it does have you do pay a yearly dues to be part of the fan club, and this is every year you get updates, you can get discounts for stuff at the parks, you can get all kinds of stuff, and one of the things that they do is every year they have like a gift for members, and this was the gift this year since it's the 100-year anniversary of the company. This was the gift, and it's a statue, and it's much bigger than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Because I have a little Mickey Mouse statue up there.
Yeah.
The little silver one.
Yeah, there's a couple Mickey.
There's a couple of Mickeys, but there's actually a statue over there.
I see it. Yeah, it's like in the box still.
It's okay. Well, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. So this is much bigger than I expected it to be, but it is Mickey Mouse.
Aww, that's nice.
And he's wearing a little 100-year. It's like it's not anything fancy. Like it's mostly plastic, but
that's cute.
It's just something that's kind of fun. So
he's got like little badges on his jacket, like little pins.
Yeah, he does. I hadn't actually pulled him out to really look at it, so I didn't look at all because it comes with some other like paperwork and things. It might explain what's on there.
Sure.
But, it looks like he's wearing like a Letterman jacket almost.
Yeah.
So
how fun.
But yeah.
Just something to kind of get you in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
First little present.
And of course I'm a huge Disney fan, so that's.
Were you excited?
Always. Yeah, I was excited. I mean, I knew it was coming.
Oh, okay.
Because they usually tell you at like the beginning of the year what the perk is or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But so I knew it was coming. But it's still cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be quite that big.
I was to say that's like a good.
Yeah, it's a good size statue.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway,
that time.
That's about time. Me screaming spoilers in the background.
The Graduate.
The Graduate. I watched it. I had never seen it.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't realize it was Dustin Hoffman either, was the main character. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a tale of two movies. Like it's two entirely different
like storylines
that kind of like collide in the middle.
I have a hot take.
The second half was kind of like a little love story thing, but it was
It's a good ending, I guess. But
see, I don't know if it was a good ending. The ending was fine, but go with your hot take and then I'll explain why I'm not sure what the ending is.
I think it's not the only reason, but it's the most important reason that the movie would be on this list is because of the soundtrack.
Oh, the Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I believe I asked my dad.
It said the songs were written by Paul Simon and performed by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
So Was Sound of Silence written for that movie?
Okay, I asked my dad the same thing because I thought surely, because Mrs. Robinson obviously was written for that movie, because that's the character's name,
I
right?
would guess.
I believe it was something like the director got with Paul Simon and said, "This is my idea." I think Sound of Silence might have already been either in the works or had been written, but it wasn't out. But it came out when with this movie, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, fact check that, because I'd be saying stuff that it just comes to my top of my head.
Yeah, I don't. It looks like it came out originally, and then it didn't do well, so they kind of re-released it almost as with the movie,
Right?
because it came
Okay,
out.
that
It
makes
came out
sense.
several years before. It looks
That
like.
makes sense.
So, that's a great song.
It's
I
which one? Sound of
Sound of
Silence?
Silence.
It is. I mean, one of probably definitely my favorite Simon and Garfunkel song. I mean, I love Mrs. Robinson, the song as well, but I just really enjoyed. It made the movie better for me. It made it like, ooh, what song are they gonna play next? I
Yeah.
liked that about it.
So the reason you say that it's a good ending,
Yeah.
and the reason I'm not sure of what the ending is going to be, because I almost felt like they were alluding to, like when they're riding in the bus away. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Well,
Yeah. I almost felt like that it alluded to him and Elaine. Yeah, if you haven't watched a what is it, 50-year-old movie
say,
now or whatever.
The Graduate came out in 1967. You know the drill. Not our fault if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's 56 years old. So I almost felt like it was they still weren't happy.
There's like a somberness to the.
Yeah, like they
Like the whole
both
last half of the
almost just like the last scene, like when they're leaving in the bus when
Yeah.
when they're like when you look at them they start playing Sound of Silence again, and it almost seems like they both regret what they just did, like what just happened.
That's true.
So I'm not
look
sure
at it
what
that way.
happens. Like it's a weird
Right.
way to end a movie.
Definitely.
Because they just don't talk and they just kind of sit there and just don't even look at each other, and
Right.
that's it.
Right. Well, my biggest take on it is don't watch this with a family member. It's a bit awkward, and that's how I did it the first time. I watched it with my dad. Neither of us knew what it was about, really. At least I was under the impression we didn't. And I chose to watch it, just not knowing anything about it. I literally looked. What's funny is I knew I wanted to watch like a movie on this list a long time ago, but I went, okay, let me look up a few. And this was the one. I just like read it and looked at like the main picture for it, and I thought this is a good movie to watch with your dad. This is one out of all of them seems appropriate.
Okay.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much with friend's mom hitting on 18-year-old son's friend. Little odd there in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, it's a little. It's a little. It's a little sexual and a little. Yeah.
And we know me, I'm very bashful.
Yeah, you're very bashful when
I
it comes to
like
that kind of
it.
stuff, which is funny. So yeah, don't watch Revenge of the Nerds with anybody,
Okay, good. I won't.
because it's kind of it's another one of those.
Good to know.
There's a lot of movies that are like that though. Like any of the coming of
don't
age
know.
movies
I know. It's
that
you
you
can't.
can't watch with
No,
a family member
you
because it's just
shouldn't.
awkward.
Yeah. And you think like, oh, even if it's a beautiful movie, there's just those few scenes that you have to be like, I'm sleeping. I'm not watching this, I promise. Like, it just feels weird to watch it with your family members.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was fine. I probably won't ever watch it again.
No.
though.
Would you say it deserves to be on the list?
No.
Me either.
I don't think there was anything special about it. Like it looked, it was nice how it was like the cinematography was fine in it, but
Sure.
it didn't seem special. But it's not the first one that hasn't seemed special to me.
I agree. I just think
So
that's a good question to ask.
yeah,
All
I
these.
agree because there's obviously 100 of these. So
Right. And there's some that I feel like absolutely one of the best movies I've ever seen. Of course it's on this list, but then there's some stinkers.
yeah, so but so for next week we're gonna watch 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men. So watch it with us. And
Leave comments, people.
leave comments, like, subscribe. If you leave a comment on YouTube. If you leave a comment on YouTube, I can usually easily find it. The other one's just a little more difficult to get to.
We do have 5 ratings on Apple Podcast app now.
Well, that's nice.
All 5 stars.
Great. That's probably our friends.
Probably, but thanks, guys. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed. We had fun, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.